Hello everyone, it's Allie here. Hope you guys are doing well. I am I'm here with Eric. He's sitting in the passenger seat with all my stuff. And we had originally planned to do a live stream on living an epic life. And he's saying it's something y'all need to hear about. He's like, y'all really need to hear about this, okay? So I'm gonna give everyone a second to like kind of hop on. So if you're watching the replay, thank you for coming. If you're here live, thank you for coming. I am, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just gonna be honest, I am energetically, like, I'm depleted today. I'm exhausted. So with all the funky stuff going on this week, my team has been waking me up early and waking me up in the middle of the night a little bit. So I'm one of those 8 hours of sleep girls. Like, I need the solid 8, and I'm just dying today. And you can hear it in my throat a little bit. So we're not gonna make it too long. And he's just like, fine. So we're not gonna make it too long. To keep it pretty short today. He's saying, and I've got him here. I've got some of my team here. Grace is here. Grace is my British sounding guide. She loves her tea, she says. Love my morning tea. That was not the right accent, sorry. She's making fun of me. So Eric is saying, listen up, y'all. He's like, listen up, y'all. You all are living life from, he's saying like, you're holding back. You guys are all holding back on living epic lives. You keep putting stuff in your damn way. You keep saying, I can go for this when, I can make this move when, I can leave my husband when, I can go get that job when. He's like, you guys keep putting stuff in your way. You keep putting stuff in your way. And the only way out is through. He keeps saying the only way out is through. Stop putting things in your way. Like creating, he's showing a street with like an obstacle course almost. He's like, life doesn't need to be this really complicated thing. You don't need to surmount all of these obstacles. You don't have to create all these barriers for yourself. Like, he's like, when you create barriers for yourself, it's really just you resisting the natural path and the natural flow of things. And so he's saying, he's literally showing a street with like a whole bunch of roadblocks in it, and like those spikes that come up out of the ground, and there's like debris in the street, and there's like tree branches. He's saying, imagine if this is not what you saw, but what you saw was this perfectly open road that was easy to navigate and well lit. And he said the reality is the nice open well lit road with the beautiful scenery and the beach and the mountains, mountains on one side, beach on the other, lots of trees. He's like, that's the reality. But in the human world, in the human consciousness, what you guys see is all this debris and he's like, all this bullshit in the way. And so he's saying, so okay, this is a good one for me, a good lesson for me. If you want to see less bullshit, stop putting up with bullshit. Stop thinking you deserve bullshit. He's like, Allie and I were going through this morning. he was taking me through an intense, your guides are here to like guide you through everything. They don't make the decisions for you. They're here to kind of help you. They guide you, yeah. And I was going through some bullshit, and I was like, this is not acceptable to me. So I was like, I'm not cool with it. There was someone in my life did something, and I was really hurt by it. And I said, did you know did you do this having the feeling of this was gonna hurt me? Like, did that cross your mind before you did it? And they admitted yes. And then I just got fucking pissed. Not by what they did, but because they knew that it might hurt me, and they did it anyways. So they like made that choice. And then so and Eric's saying, you're bullshit, Allie. was your response. Your response was to turn over it. You made it mean something about you. You made, you attached to it, and you started to embody it. And I've been having like chest pains, like literal like heart chest pains, like going all the way into my back. And so what he's saying is, you guys, you know, he's like, this is just an example. You guys could be living epic lives, tons of adventures, tons of fun. But what he's saying is, you need to, and this is how I kind of navigated my way out of this, emotionally. He took me into a meditation with Papa, which is my name for Source. I call Source Papa, or God, I call God Papa. He took me into a meditation with Papa, and, in this meditation, I was like playing in the woods. It was like my inner child came out and played with Papa in the golden leaves, and like was doing all this stuff, and it reconnected me to myself. So in a moment of feeling hurt and really rejected and going, I know that I'm creating this. I know that I'm telling myself this story. I know I'm telling myself all this bullshit, and I'm sitting there and I get really attached to like, this is a fucking waste of time. I say that to myself, and then I have to remember time's not real, right? And he's like, time is irrelevant. And he's saying, but then you went into this meditation and you gave yourself grace. You went and played in the leaves. You went and sat by the lake with Papa. I see myself by this lake, and they tell me it's Lake Tahoe. I've never been there, but they keep saying it's Lake Tahoe. It's Lake Tahoe. This is what it looks like. I haven't been there before. So I went and played, and I came out of it, and I felt this like sense of peace come over me. So what he's saying is, you guys keep looking at life and your relationships and the shit that pisses you off. He's like, you guys keep holding on to it. You turn it over. You get attached to the story around it. You start to create grudges almost, and then it gets harder to navigate. He's like, it's almost like you're putting more debris and more obstacles in front of yourself, even though in Allie's situation, someone else did this thing, right? But he's saying, where I put the debris in the road for myself and made it hard for myself was that I chose to ruminate over it and get pissed about it. He's like, it's not, and he tells me this all the time, it's not bad to feel your feelings. It's not unspiritual to get angry or to get sad sometimes, or to feel like this is bullshit. Like, I was like walking around this morning, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, like I was just like really pissed. And he just goes, you have the right to have any experience you want to have, though. So you choose. And he said, the quicker you say, this is what I'm feeling, I'm taking ownership of this shit. This is not the way I want to feel, but this is where I am. He always tells me, start where you are. Start where you are. Stop trying to say, oh, I just need to get back to a high vibe or bad shit's going to happen. Oh my God. He's like, you guys in the spiritual community, you do this shit all the time. You're just like, I just got to be love and light. It's bad if I'm not love and light. And he's like, you came here to be human. You didn't come here to be perfect. Like, there is no perfection. So he's always telling me, you're going to move through this faster when you face, he's like, you face the fucking shit. You face the bullshit. So by me giving myself that time to say, I'm fucking pissed, I own this, and then coming back to it though and saying, okay, now it's time to take my hands off, meditate, and just see what happens with Papa. I kept literally having Papa in my ear, like, come see me. So and then Eric came too, of course. He likes to, they're all like, he likes to take over the conversation, if you can't tell. So what he's kind of saying is, Allie, you could have, when I was younger, I used to hang on to shit forever. I used to, like, I had anxiety disorder, and it was almost like I didn't know how to move out of things quickly. Like, I would get stuck in them for days. So what he's saying is, when you make the conscious choice of, okay, I feel this right now, or I'm seeing this bullshit situation happening. He's like, could be work's in your way. You want to get a new job, but you can't. You feel like you can't. You want to make a move to a new city, but you feel like you can't. You want to change relationships. You feel like you can't. You want to give your kids something cool for Christmas. You feel like you can't. He's like, we're going to talk back. He's like, we're going to come back, talk about Christmas around Christmas time. That's going to be a good one. Jesus is going to come, Mary Magdalene, and Mother Mary all at once. I'm really excited for that. So he's saying, shut the front door. He just goes, Pontius Pilate too. I'm like, what the fuck? That was a surprise. He's like, I really threw you through a loop there. He's saying something about get ready to get on your high horse, Allie. I'm like, fuck no. So anyways, what he's saying is like, so there's these things that you can want to have and experience. And he's like, he's like, keep in mind when there's things you want, it's not because of, oh, I need this job and then everything will be better. What he's saying is you can choose to give yourself grace right now instead of waiting until I make more money, until I get that job, until I get out of this relationship, until when. He's like, you know, you guys are so like, when this happens, then I'll be happy. Then I'll have what I want and then I can be happier. He's like, no, he's like, even if you're going through bullshit, even if you don't got your kids with you, even if you can't find a job, he's like, even if you're disabled, even if you're mentally ill, even if, you know, and he's like, and we got things to say about mental illness and what it really is in the spiritual community. He's like, spiritual, and he's like doing the halo spiritual most of the time. But what he's saying is, even if you're in what feels like a rock bottom, your perception is a conscious choice. And he's like, again, you're human. You came to this experience, to this lifetime, to this incarnation, hey guys, to have the human experience. Okay. He's like, I promise you, when it's time for you guys to be all love and light, you'll know. Like, you'll know, the world will be ready for it. He's like, and you're working towards it. It's working. But don't make yourselves wrong for feeling bad sometimes, but don't, and he tells me this all the time, don't embody it. Don't embody it and carry it around. Don't carry it around like luggage on your shoulders. Instead, give yourselves some grace. And he said that could be little things. And the reason they had me meditate is, and this came up with one of my other medium friends told me yesterday, she was like, Archangel Gabriel just came in and he told me to tell you that your inner child is outside your body and she needs to get back in. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? And this was right around the time that I went through this really heartbreaking thing that this person did. And I was like, oh, of course, I'm disconnected from my like God source energy, which is my inner child energy that plays and has fun and has no inhibitions, right? So, so that's why they took me into that meditation, to take me into that childlike energy with Papa there. I mean, when you guys talk to God, you're talking to yourself. You guys know that, right? Like you are source. So he, but we see Papa visually in different ways. I've seen Papa or God as the Papa from The Shack, where it's like a big African-American woman. I've seen source as just pure wavy energy where like I touched it and my whole heart like went, I've seen it like a million different forms, right? And like, he's like, look at your world around you. Papa's everywhere. So, but he's saying, you know, in going into that meditation, I reconnected with my pure essence, my sense of love and light. And it was like I literally had this feeling of peace. I could feel it in my body. It literally washed over me and I was covered in shivers. And it felt like after I came out of that meditation, I was kind of like, oh, right, I'm still in the park. Like I almost like forgot where I was because I went into such a state of peace. And I actually like cried because I had like a little bit of release from, like, it was like a sense of relief, you know what I mean, after being so angry. So he's saying, you know, maybe it's not meditating for you, although he's like, we're big fans of meditation and up in the, he just called them the spiritual community, the higher ups. He's like, you think we're higher than you, we're not. He's talking about vibrations and how higher, lower are human terms and all that shit. There's no hierarchy. So anyhow, so he's just saying, find something that's going to move you out of that state. It's not about avoiding the feelings. Face them. He said, if you got to write them down, write them down. But he's like, bring forth that part of you that knows that you're worthy of being happy no matter what your external circumstances are. Okay, he's talking about abuse. he's like, Eric. Okay. He's like, think about people who go through abuse. How strong they come out of it depends on them. Fuck. Don't make me do this. I'm like, okay. So he's talking about kids who have grown up around abuse. He's like, look at someone like Lewis Howes. Do you guys know who Lewis Howes is? And I love Lewis Howes personally as Allie. They're like, we're big fans. He's they've told me he's part of our soul group as entrepreneurs. So we've got some good peeps. So look at him. He went through a horrendous instance of sexual abuse as a child. And he talks about it on his podcast and stuff. However, he came out and he rose above and he found his play. He went through a lot of time of anger, and he's talked about that on the podcast. And Eric's saying, you know, he rose above to lead his life, to become a compassionate man who knows he's here for a great purpose. And he said part of purpose is choosing it. You know, you can have a spiritual purpose and choose not to move forward with it. You got free will here. But so he's saying a lot of kids, you know, they go through abuse. Part of how they handle it growing up is they immerse themselves in play. They immerse themselves in things that are fun. And I went through some emotional abuse as a kid, and I remember doing things that made me happy, like, you know, coloring or playing outside for hours, stuff like that. That actually brought me back into a loving state where I could look at this person in my life and say, they're just a person. They're just doing the best they can. Their best fucking sucks sometimes, but they're just doing the best they can. It would turn me, he said, it returns you to compassion because you're giving yourself what you need. You're able to extend that out into the world. And he said, and remember, collective consciousness. If you're compassionate with yourself, no matter what your circumstances, you are being compassionate with all. You're giving that to all as a collective. Energetically, mentally, emotionally, your thoughts all connect to each other. And so he's saying, choose. He's like, so in every second you're choosing, and this is how you have an epic life. You're consciously choosing what route you're going to go. And he's shown me this a million times, and he showed me again in the Woo Collective. You can, so like, say this is your timeline, right? Like, this is the lifeline that you're driving, it's the road you're driving down. It's nice and smooth and straight, but he keeps saying you can take as many different directions as you want. And he showed all these roads and these paths splitting off, and then roads and paths, you know, splitting off those ones. And then he showed me at the end, all these little routes come back together, right? He's like, you'll always be exactly where you need to be, but your state of mind is the way that you choose to go. Okay, and it dictates your actions in this world. He said it doesn't mean you're not right on time. You're always right on time, right in the right place, exactly where you need to be. And you will always get home. You will always get back together. But how you choose to go is up to you. Do you want he's like, you want all that shit in the road? Do you want to take the desert scene, or you want to drive by the beach? He's like, it's up to you, man. Like, and so, he's saying, we don't judge you. We're here. He's like, we're here to love you through it all. We're here to guide you through it all. You decide to take the desert route. We go, okay, we trust you. He's like, you know what I mean? He's like, we're just here to help you and to hold space for you, no matter what you're going through. So, as you guys go to make decisions, he's like, number one, stop thinking that you can only be happy if or when, or he's like, so many of you guys are waiting around for magical boyfriends and and for that guy to propose. He's like, what the fuck are you waiting for? Be happy right now. Like, he's just like, you got yourself, you got epic lives, go live them, you know, stop waiting. He's like, most of you girls, you don't realize that once you go live and he's talking about, you get into your true loving essence of having fun. And he's like, I'm not talking about going out to bars. He's like, but that can be cool. He's talking about just like having fun, being creative, doing things for yourself. He's like, that's how you meet guys. Like, he's like, oh. He's like, you don't meet guys by sitting around on Facebook waiting, you know. Anyhow, or he's like, or swiping right and left. I'm like, oh, thank God I got married before that came out. So anyhow, so he's saying you don't have to wait till the perfect car, the perfect job, that amount of money, whatever it is, that goal that you're supposed to hit happens. And he's saying a lot of people get attached to, well, when I become a mother, when I have a baby, especially people who have trouble getting pregnant and stuff. Once that happens, then I'll be happy. He's like, no, be happy right now. He's like, look around, what you got around you that makes you happy. He's like, you can't find anything around you in your physical circumstances. Look inside yourself. That's what's most important. What am I happy about in myself? He's like, this is how you live an epic life. Even if you're not in what, the media tells you or the magazines show you is an epic circumstance, like you're rock climbing or you're jumping off you're bungee jumping or whatever. He's like, even if you're not living adventurous, those outside perspective adventurous circumstances, you can create adventure in any situation. He's like, if you don't remember how to do that, think about what you did when you were a kid. And they tell me to do this all the time. Like, they're like, watch Finn play, my 3.5-year-old. And I'll watch him and I'm just like, he could literally have fun with rocks, with like 2 rocks. You know what I mean? Like, he's 3.5. He could have fun with anything. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jonathan, I love Lewis's stuff. I love it. He's getting more and more into spirituality too. And he said that's the direction his business is going to take in the future. It's really interesting. Really interesting. And he just had a book come out called The Mask of Masculinity, which I'm going to buy. I'm thinking about doing a book club for it, actually, because I'm like obsessed. So anyhow, what else you got, sir? Oh, and as I'm talking about this, there's a whole bunch of like little tots walking by going to like back to their school. I'm like, they're so cute. They've got like sparkly shoes on and shit. Like, when was the last time you had fun wearing sparkly shoes, Okay, so he's saying live an epic life now. And he's like, here's the other huge thing. Stop looking towards the future, like when it happens, and be compassionate with yourself. Let yourself move through any perceived wrongdoings, perceived limitations, perceived bad or good or right or wrong. Let yourself move through your perception of fear and come back to love. And he's like, think about it, at first, think about it like it's something that you start to practice at. He's like, don't think about it like, he's like, a lot of you guys in the spiritual community beat up on yourselves when you judge or when you move out of that loving, that joyful vibration. You go, oh my God, I got to get back to it. Oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. I got to get back. That's his words. He's like, I got to get back to it. But he's like, but listen, it's okay to feel the feelings. Then you will move back to it faster. So be compassionate with yourself because you're giving that to everyone. Yeah, and he's saying create, and he's saying part of that is letting go of the past. So like what I realized when I was doing this meditation I was playing is that I was in this present of play and fun and joy, and so I like almost forgot about what this person had done. And when I came out of it with this sense of peace of like, oh yeah, it really actually means nothing about me and nothing about them. It's just a thing that happened, right? Like I detached from the story and the meaning of it. And he said that was part of Papa. And that's the other thing he's saying is, he's like, I know this feels like a stretch for a lot of you guys. You think God is some, or God, the universe, source, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whatever, Jesus, whatever you pray to, as like the overarching energy, the bigger thing, Mama Earth. He's like, a lot of people worship the earth. He's like, cool, we don't judge that. He's like, whatever way you connect. He's like, a lot of people worship themselves as God. Amen, sister. He's saying, don't forget that at any time, if you're wanting to feel like I am living an epic life, I am an amazingly powerful person, you can connect to that something bigger than yourself. He goes, ding! He's like, Source is not above you. You can talk to Source anytime you fucking want to. Like, he's like, Source is inside of you. It's everywhere. You can go talk to a tree and know that you're talking to God. You look a little funny to you guys, but we're going to be sitting there loving you through it. Oh my gosh. He's too funny. Let me go back and look at comments.